Mortal Kombat 2 weekend comes to a close, but the tournament is still going. Today I'm ranking all of the characters from the movie from the most weakest to the most brutal. So who will be crowned Mortal Kombat champion of this tournament? Stay tuned. So I'm going to rank these characters based on how well they were used in the story, how accurate they were to the game, and how cool they were. Because really, that's the ultimate thing. That's what matters most. How cool they were in the film. So let's not waste any time and see who earned their spot in this ranking list. Alright, so the list has 17 spots, and starting dead last at number 17 is Sindel. As someone who plays with female characters since the moment I started playing video games when I was little, with Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Virtua Fighter, I always use the ladies. They kick such good ass. I am so disappointed with Sindel. I mean, I don't like what they did with her at all. From how weak she seemed, not strong at all, from how low energy, no vibe at all. She's supposed to be kind of like demonic and mentally insane. Like Shao Kahn is supposed to have driven her to madness, and you don't get that in this film. I did like her powers though. I liked how her ultrasonic scream looked on screen. I thought it was really cool, but that's not the only thing she can do. She can also use her deadly hair as a weapon, doing the whip. I would have loved to have seen that as well. I understand that maybe budget limitations, they couldn't go all the way with her power set, so I'm gonna just have to accept it, but I do hope that in the future, if they use her, they need to use her hair, because to me that is as iconic, if not even more, than her yelling powers. Alright, moving on to number 16. This one is a little bit unexpected that I even put him on the list, but I think he deserves a spot, alright? How about King Jerrod? Yes, I actually really liked him in the film, even though he was barely in it. But I loved how brave he was, how such a good leader he came across, that he went into that battle to save his realm and his people, his kingdom, and his wife and daughter. And I also really loved how much he loved his daughter and how good of a father he seemed to be to Kitana. Kitana clearly loves her dad, and she learned a lot from him. So I felt like I needed to put him in the ranking list. He didn't get a lot of screen time. Maybe in future movies he will, because if you remember correctly, in the new Mortal Kombat game, Ermac uses a lot of the soul of King Jerrod. Like, he comes through a lot, so there are hopes that this character could come back. There's not a lot of storyline for him in previous games, but after this last one, there are hopes, so that's why he made it to my list. Number 15. This one really pissed me off. Quan Chi. My goodness, what a disappointment. He looked so awful. He clearly looked like he was wearing makeup. Like, it wasn't even good makeup. I think the film even makes a joke about it. Maybe it was Kano, that he looked like he was wearing Spirit Halloween makeup on. It was bad. He actually looked to me like Jason Momoa as Lobo in the new Supergirl trailer. It was that bad. Like, it did not look like something that was high quality, or that they used even good special effects on his face of any kind. So I was very disappointed with Quan Chi, especially because they never did anything interesting with him. Like, he is a cool character in the games. I wanted to see his powers. I wanted him to do a skull fireball of some sort, the green one that he does, which is so cool. They never did anything like that, and he never gave me the vibes that he was that evil and that conniving. And I know he's a tricky character, because when you think about it, Quan Chi is pretty much Shang Tsung. It's the same character. It pretty much is. Like, they may be different, but there's a lot of similarities. So to make him stand out in a film where Shang Tsung is also in it, it's gonna be difficult. But I was very disappointed. And what a waste of a good actor. He is played by Damon Harriman. He is the guy that brilliantly played Charles Manson twice in Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and on Netflix Mindhunter. So the guy can act. and he was just given absolutely nothing to do here. But I just think like as the actor, he was really wasted. But at least he played some role in the story, and he was able to do some things like bring back Noob Saibot, Sub-Zero, and all of that. So I'll give him not the last spot for that reason, but he was still just absolutely horrible in this film. All right, next up on the list, number 14. I think you guys are going to kill me for this one, but I have to keep it frank because he was such a waste in this film. Jax. Yes, I am sorry, but Jax was so boring. And I know some of you are saying, how can I have Jax before Cole Young? But I'm sorry, Jax was wasted in this film. And I will at least give him the fact that he was wasted because of how fast the movie was moving. The pace in which they were going was so quickly that there was no story for any of these side characters, and he fell victim of that, unfortunately. However, there should be no reason why he couldn't get better fights. That fight that he had with Jade, awful, boring. I know you're going to say, wait a second, Frank, he was holding his punches because Kitana asked them to not hurt Jade. Okay, great. He still could have done a better fight. They could have choreographed something a little bit better. And even the other fights where he was not holding his punches, he never really used his powers. He used the floor punch while training with Liu Kang and Cole Young, but he never did anything cool fighting Shao Kahn, and then he gets killed. So no, unfortunately he was really boring. They didn't use him well, but I will give him that it was because there was no story given to him for anything interesting to happen. All right, who's next? Drum roll. Number 13, our favorite god of thunder. Oh yes, Raiden. So I have a love-hate relationship with this Raiden because Raiden to me should be one of the coolest characters. Not only is he supposed to be all wise and full of wisdom and like a peaceful monk and like the father of the group, but he should be a badass warrior that if you mess with him, you are done. And I just don't feel like the movie's doing a good job at delivering that second part of who he is supposed to be. He looks like a peaceful monk. I love that for him. And he is very wise and he kind of comes across as fatherly, but I'm missing the warrior part. And I wanted that more in this film. I actually thought from the trailer, if you guys remember when I told you about the trailer breakdown, I thought there was going to be a humongous fight between him and Shang Tsung. Come to find out in this movie, there wasn't any fight between them. However, I did like the way he used his electric fly to hit Shang Tsung. That looked pretty cool, but it was so quick and you miss it and there was no fight leading to that moment that I was really disappointed. Also, I could barely understand a single word he was saying. Like, I know it sounds bad to say that. I'm not trying to shade the actor, but his English was hard to understand. There were many lines that I was like, huh? Like, what are you saying? And I know that's rich coming from me. I have a big accent, and sometimes you might not understand what I'm saying, but I'm sorry, it was hard. So Raiden for me was kind of weak. Sorry, buddy. Maybe next time. All right, next up, I'm also disappointed with this one because I wanted more, and it's number 12, Shang Tsung. Okay, so I want you to understand one thing. I absolutely love this version of Shang Tsung. I think what they have done with this character is so unique, is so different. It doesn't look like any of the Shang Tsung versions of the game, but I love what this actor does with this character. I think is original, but yet he keeps the essence of what we know of Shang Tsung. In fact, he looks like the younger version of the OG Shang Tsung in the OG game, and I think that's awesome. He also looks like the character that Shang Tsung was based off, which is the character in Big Trouble in Little China, which the film references really funny at one point. So I love what they do with the character, but he just had absolutely zero scenes. I wanted a little bit more, and again, I blame the fact that the movie had almost no story, it was very hard for them to write every character into the story and give them time enough to do anything. And I also think it's difficult to balance Quan Chi and Shang Tsung because, in my opinion, they're so similar. They kind of serve similar purposes to the story that it's hard to balance who's going to get more storyline. So I think that hurt Shang Tsung in this movie. However, I still think he looks great. I just want more scenes with him. So far, no Cole Young. I feel like you guys must be like, what? Where's Cole Young in this? But he's coming soon, don't worry. Let's move up to number 11, Jade. Yes, unfortunately, my girl Jade was also a little bit disappointing. It could be my fault. I don't like this actress. So when I saw that she was in the new film cast as Jade, I already went into the film not liking her, and I was right. I just don't think she brings the energy that I want for Jade. I do think she looks cool. I think she brought something different to the character than in the games, but I wanted an actress that, I don't know, could be a little bit more delicate around the edges, and this girl just seemed completely like rough and tough all the way around, and I wanted a little bit more softness, if that makes sense. But then again, I do think that this actress, I had no idea, she is a trained martial artist. And the way that she used the staff and how well she could like fight with it. So I'll give her a huge amount of credit for that. Because in that sense, she was awesome the way she fought. However, I have a disappointing thing to say here. That she could not beat Jax, that really bothered me. Come on, Jade would destroy Jax. Pretty much, I feel like anybody from our world would destroy Jax, but whatever. All right, we are in the top 10 now, and this is where it really gets hard for me to rank them, but here we go. Number 10 on the list is Cole Young. I know he was not last on my list. I am also surprised about that, but I'll tell you why. I absolutely loved everything about his fight with Shao Kahn. I thought it was a great fight. I thought Louis Tan's performance during the fight was amazing. He gave leading man vibes during that fight. And it also felt like the fight that had the highest stakes. And I think it felt that way because Louis Tan really sold his monologue about how he has a wife and a daughter and he might never see them again. And when he said that, I remember like, oh yeah, he has a wife and a daughter and he might never see them again. And what if he dies and poor wife and daughter? Like, so it kind of felt like the stakes were heavy in that fight. Then he got killed and it was glorious. I do not change it for anything in the world, but it really felt like a gut punch because by that point, I actually had built an attachment to Cole Young from the first film to this one. So even though it wasn't a happy ending, there was a full circle of emotions from that film and what we built with him through that to this outcome. It was harsh, it was mean, it was brutal, but that's Mortal Kombat, baby. That's what it's all about. And don't worry, he might be back. There is a chance. There's a lot of rumors going around. Now that we know that they are working on a part 3, there's little gossips and rumors and driplets of information that perhaps he will be Kenshi. How? I have no idea. He's in the acid and he is completely gone and melted away. So how are they going to do that? I don't know. But I have a feeling they will keep Louis Tan. I think this fight, a lot of people are going to feel the way I feel and they enjoyed him. So they might bring him back in some other way. All right, number 9 on my list. Don't be surprised by this one. Please don't yell at me. Don't cancel me. Don't tell me shit. Don't please insult me. I'm going to put Kano. Yes, I'm sorry. I know he has become a fan favorite, but for me, he was just so disappointing. Only because I need Kano to look like Kano. I want him to look like this. Like the guy from Mortal Kombat 1 and from the last couple games. I need him to bulk up. Liu Lin bulked up to look more like Liu Kang. So why can't this guy do it? He does look like a conniving little son of a bitch that will stab you in the back every time. I'll give him that. And he does a really good job at bringing, you know, the whole persona of Kano to life. He's great. My entire theater was laughing. But I don't know. I just can't get behind him because I want this. I want that and I need that. All right, continuing to number 8. Now I have Baraka. This one, if you would have asked me yesterday where I would rank him, he probably would have been a little bit higher up on my list. But thinking about it overnight, I kind of had to understand why they went this route of making Baraka such a comical, funny character and not as serious as the games. Maybe they thought that general audiences would not take to this character unless there was something funny about him, perhaps. At first, I wasn't in love with the whole fight and the whole sequence with Johnny Cage and Baraka. I thought it was insulting to Baraka, to be honest. But they did that. My audience got a huge laugh from it. And then maybe I kind of started understanding that, okay, you know, the film needs a little bit of camp to it. And this is a character that even the way he looks so like prosthetic and so fake and so silly that there has to be something to laugh about. Otherwise, you're going to laugh at it, not laugh with it. So, hey, I did enjoy him in the end. I thought the actor did a really good job as well. I can't wait to get more Baraka and see what stupidity he's going to get with Johnny Cage, because clearly they're like a little duo now that I'm really looking forward to in a next film. Number 7. This one, I'm so happy how well she turned out in this film. So much better than the last one. Sonya. Listen, the last film, I was so disappointed with Sonya. Sonya is a character that she's so crucial to the storyline of the games. She is very important. She is a badass. She is, you know, in the army and like a commander. And like, she's like the boss bitch. And I need her to be that. And I need her to have better fighting sequences. And in neither of any of the films, really, not Mortal Kombat 1 or Annihilation or even the last film, have they chosen an actress that can do the fights any justice to what Sonya can do in the games. I'm not saying this film is any different. Her fight sequences are not amazing, but there was something about her this time around that I felt more like, there's Sonya. I really liked it. And every time she used her fucking pink blast, magical. Freaking loved it. I wanted more of it every single time she did it. It looks so beautiful on screen. Now, the one thing that kind of disappointed me about the film with Sonya is that there was no romance between her and our boy Johnny, and we need that. Like, I understand that maybe they're saving that for another film, and even the actress talked about it in an interview the other day, that I think they said that Ed Boon wants to wait a little bit so that Sonya's storyline is not only being in love with Johnny or a romantic relationship with Johnny. However, I at least wanted some romantic banter in this film, at least a little bit of flirting, maybe her like giving the eye to Johnny or Johnny looking at her, like she's something, and there was nothing. It was so cold between the two of them, and I was kind of like disappointed by that. But I get it. Maybe next film. I do think her and Karl Urban make a really good couple. They look really good for one another. So next time. Oh, and we need Cassie, so it has to happen. All right, so for the next one, I'm changing it up just a little bit, all right? Number 6, but also number 5. So this is already my top 5 here, is Scorpion and Noob Saibot. Yes, I put them together because one cannot exist without the other, right? Scorpion and Bi-Han will always be tied together as a married little couple that they are, and in this film they kind of got equal amount of screen time because all they did was that amazing fight. In fact, I want to say it was one of the best moments of the film. It's kind of when the film to me finally hit that gear where I wanted the film to go, and it felt cinematic. That fight elevated the movie to what I envision of what Mortal Kombat can be. It was a really cool location. It looked amazing. It was a big fight between Noob Saibot and Scorpion, but then Johnny Cage and Jade and Kano, like there was so many moving parts in that fight, and I was loving it. I will say though, and you might hate me for saying this, I feel like they felt like they under-delivered just a little bit, only because they did not have a lot to do in the film. The fight was great. That's why they are in my top 5. But as far as what they did to the story, you know, I'm already sick of seeing Sub-Zero or Bi-Han and Scorpion do this kind of fight. How many more times are we going to see this, right? It's happened so much by now. We need something extra. I did like that now Bi-Han became Noob Saibot. I think it looked cool. I don't think they use his power sets as best as they could. It seemed like this is the beginning of what they could do with him, and hopefully next film somebody can come in and fix and be creative with how his power set can be used and how it can look. But other than that, I love that fight. I think they were great in it, and it's interesting to me that the movie is being praised and being given good reviews by fans, and there isn't a lot of Scorpion and Sub-Zero or Bi-Han, right? Which usually those are the two main guys that you want to go see. So that says a lot about the film and how much people are liking the entire film overall, that even though they didn't get a lot of those two characters, they still enjoyed it. All right, top 4. We've made it to the top 4. In my number 4 spot, a little bit controversial. I think most of you might have him in your number 1 spot. But for me, it was Johnny Cage. I'll tell you why. Let's discuss. Don't be mad at me. Don't throw tomatoes, okay? The last movie ended on a cliffhanger that we were getting Johnny Cage. Then it was announced that Johnny Cage was going to be played by Karl Urban. And a lot of people were either confused or loving the idea because he was off from The Boys. And at that point, season 3 of The Boys was hot. The show was, you know, doing really good ratings. Everybody was loving it. However, I don't think he fits as a Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage needs to be a little bit more younger, better looking, a little bit more of a douchebag and a narcissist, but still have like some charisma to him. Does Karl Urban have that? Yeah, a little bit. Not too much though. This was definitely the Johnny Cage of Mortal Kombat X, an older version, which I'm okay with. But for this film, I wanted the younger one. I also wanted an actor that could pull off the fight scenes. Man, was his fight scenes awful. He could not pull off any of the stunts. He looked ridiculous. And even the times where they used an actual stunt double, it still looked pretty bad. So to have someone who's supposed to be a badass martial artist like Johnny Cage, who's really cool, and not get those fights, I was really disappointed. It was also hard for me to get past Karl Urban as Butcher in The Boys because there were moments where I could even hear the Australian accent. It was just cringe several times. And what bothers me so much about this Johnny Cage in particular, and it might not be his fault, is that the film didn't have really good writers to deliver the actors good dialogue. So some of his one-liners were stupid. I know some of them come from the games, but even the ones that were not from the games, those just sounded so forced and so cringe. And most of them came from him. And I think it also came from him and doing an American accent that was kind of mixed with Australian. I'll take him, I'll accept this version, but I really hope that for the next film, they give him better dialogue, that he works more on his accent, and that he delivers the lines a little bit more like Johnny Cage that we know in the game. And that he starts flirting with Sonya. He needs to. All right, so in my number 3 spot, again, as a duo, I have to go with Liu Kang and Kung Lao. Listen, they really brought it. These two guys deserve a round of applause. That fight was so freaking cool. It looked like a dance. The entire fight that they had looked like a choreographed dance. It was beautiful martial arts. They were able to show off their skills, their talent, both of them. The way they were posing, the way they were fighting and kicking and jumping, and everything they did was, it was phenomenal. The only thing I didn't like about their fight is that it came across as a dance and they were holding their punches. I never felt like the punches were landing hard enough, but that's okay. It still looked cool. But I have to give to these two actors. They did their job. Kung Lao, I think, is beautiful the way he looks in this film. I mean, it's right out of the game. He looks perfect. Everything about him, the way he moved, the way he looks, the way he used the powers. I mean, it was great. I really hope they bring him back, because what they did with him in this film deserves to be seen even more. And then Ludi Lin, man. Ludi Lin as Liu Kang. Have you seen him bulked up? I mean, wow. I'm going to the gym tomorrow. Like, I'm going to the gym tomorrow, because he bulked up to look so much like the Liu Kang of the modern recent games, that I have to give it to him. He did his work, and he looks incredible. He fought incredible. He delivered a great performance. He felt like Liu Kang, that wise, calm, peaceful warrior who becomes a god. And that moment where he lifted in a blaze of fire after Shao Kahn killed him and he disappeared, most likely to maybe become a god or some sort of entity. I mean, I gasped. I was like, what? They're already doing that? Like, I was so excited. These two guys really made the film feel more like Mortal Kombat, and I am so happy what they got to do, because they deserved it. They were kind of like underserved in the last film and pushed to the side as like some side characters, and in this one they showed off and they gave us the Liu Kang and the Kung Lao that we fucking deserved. It was beautiful. Thank you so much. All right, top two, my last two spots. This one was tough. I feel like even right now, I'm kind of like changing who's going to be one, who's going to be two, who's going to be one, who's going to be two. But number two on my list is Shao Kahn. Listen, let's talk Shao Kahn, okay? Iconic. He was the one to beat. He felt dangerous. He felt larger than life. He felt like no matter what you would do, he was going to kill you. He felt and had a presence like the presence he has in the game, especially Mortal Kombat 2. It was so hard to beat him back in the day that in this film, it was like, wow, they actually were able to bring him to life and feel like such a monstrous figure that you were never going to be able to get through or hurt, and that no matter what you do, he was going to just rip you to pieces. He was fantastic. The actor Martin Ford, he was so good as Shao Kahn. He had the physicality of it. He had the voice for it. He had the presence for it. He had everything that I could have hoped for Shao Kahn. The way they use his powers, I loved every time he did the green shoulder bump. Man, I was like, what? Do it again. Do it again. Like, I was so excited every time he did that. They used him perfectly. I cannot wait to see if they bring him back for the next film. I hope they do somehow, because it will be such a waste to get rid of Shao Kahn after we got one that is so well realized. And the top spot, of course, goes to my girl, Kitana. All right, let's talk Kitana. Adeline Rudolph was incredible. Again, as someone who's always used female characters in fighting games, Kitana has always been my favorite girl in Mortal Kombat. Who doesn't love Kitana? Not only is she a great fighter in the games, and she's hard to beat in the games with some of the best power sets and combos and moves in the games. Now in this movie, man, the way they brought her to life, I am so happy what they did with her. This girl, Adeline Rudolph, did such a brilliant and beautiful job. I'll tell you why. Because the way that I envision Kitana is she needs to be sexy, which this girl is, but she also needs to feel like the girl next door because she's supposed to be a princess. She also felt dangerous and tough, but there was a softness to her. She had a lot of heart to her as well, and she had a really beautiful story of how she wanted revenge for her father, and you can feel it throughout her performance the entire time. She also felt like a princess who's going to become queen, and she's going to rule as a really good queen. I mean, she had such a beautiful arc in the film, and this girl, Adeline Rudolph, brought it all to life so very well. And the moves, when they used the fans, the way it sounded, the way it looked, how hard they felt when they would land, everything was amazing. Even when she floated with the fans, it was like, like I gasped. Like, it was so good. I mean, I was loving every single bit of Kitana in this film. And the way she killed Shao Kahn with that fatality, I mean, could they have done anything better with her? I don't know. But so far what I got, It was brilliant. I cannot wait to see her in the next film. And to be honest, I hope they bring Melina back and they use the same actress so they can have the whole storyline where Melina is Kitana's clone and then she gets to play dual roles, and one will be Kitana and one she will play like an evil version being Melina. That will be incredible for this actress. I think she can pull it off, and I would love to see that in the next film. And that is my ranking of all the characters of Mortal Kombat 2. Let me know your thoughts on my ranking. Leave me your ranking in the comments below. Let's discuss who was your favorite, who was your weakest. Thank you for watching my video, and as always, my name is Frank, and let's keep it frank together.